With this outbreak of persecution, some 800 English scholars fled the country. Many of them found refuge in Geneva under the protection of John Calvin and the reformers of Switzerland. Among the English exiles were Miles Coverdale and the renowned Scottish reformer John Knox. At Geneva, they determined to produce yet another revision of the English Bible, this time one that would be based on the best manuscripts of the original Hebrew and Greek languages, without the limitation of either the Crown of England or Rome. Before his death, William Tyndale had produced a revision of his New Testament in 1534. At Geneva, they made use of this edition to produce the first part of the Geneva Bible in 1557. The following year, Queen Mary died, and her Protestant sister, Elizabeth, ascended to the throne. By 1560, a complete version of the Geneva Bible, Old Testament and New, was published and dedicated to the new Queen of England, Elizabeth I.
The first Bible that was translated completely from the Hebrew, the Aramaic, and the Greek was the Geneva Bible of the Pilgrims.
The Geneva translation is often called the Bible of the Pilgrims because it was this Bible that they brought with them to America when they landed at Plymouth in 1620.
And they loved that Bible.
The Geneva translation became the most popular and widely used English Bible that had ever been produced, with over 200 editions from 1560 to 1644. It is also considered the first study Bible because it was filled with extensive footnotes from the leading Bible scholars of that era, including John Calvin, Theodore Beza, John Knox, Miles Coverdale, and other reformers of the time, with over 300,000 words of commentary on the Holy Scripture.
It was like a Bible college education. There's all kinds of the reformers' notes packed into the Geneva Bible.
The Geneva translation was the Bible used by John Bunyan, John Milton, Oliver Cromwell, William Shakespeare, and William Bradford. It was also the first complete Bible to divide up the Scriptures into chapter and verse. Chapter divisions had been established in the 13th century by Stephen Langton, the Archbishop of Canterbury, while the verse divisions for the Old Testament were done by the Jewish rabbi Nathan in 1448. Meanwhile, it was Robert Stephanus, who was also at Geneva with the Reformers, who had first employed verse divisions for his publication of the Greek New Testament in 1551. And so the translators of the Geneva Bible made use of all these methods, Old Testament and New, for a complete English Bible in 1560.
It's the first Bible to have verse divisions. So the people love that because that was the first time there's a John 3:16.
The Geneva translation would continue to dominate until it was replaced by the Bible destined to be called the best-selling book of all time, the King James Version of 1611. But this would only occur after the Geneva Bible was outlawed in England, with some even being arrested for owning it. It seems to have been forbidden because of the very footnotes that had made it so popular, commentaries that represented the collective views of the reformers at the time, but were in direct opposition to the Church of Rome. Rome's ongoing persecution of Bible believers only convinced them that she was indeed the great whore of Revelation chapter 17, the woman that sits atop the scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy. In the Geneva translation, we read, "And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and in her forehead was a name written, a mystery, that great Babylon, that mother of whoredoms and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great marvel." The scripture says the woman is a city that sits upon 7 mountains or hills. The Geneva translators wrote, "Very children know what that 7-hilled city is, which is so much spoken of. That is the damnable harlot, the spiritual Babylon, which is Rome. In manner of deeds she is red with blood, and sheddeth it most licentiously, and therefore is colored with the blood of the saints." Meanwhile, their view of the Pope is shown in Revelation 11:7, which speaks of the beast that cometh out of the bottomless pit. The Reformers wrote, "That is the Pope, that hath his power out of hell, and cometh thence." Needless to say, these teachings were offensive to Rome, but had been handed down for centuries. After the death of King James, his son Charles I took the throne. King Charles was a controversial monarch, accused by Protestants of popish and tyrannical actions, and was suspected of supporting an international papist conspiracy against the Protestant faith. It was during his reign that the Geneva Bible was outlawed. Could the footnotes concerning Rome have been the reason why?